What's up? Welcome back to the DirtNerds Off-Road YouTube channel. This week we're going to give you a little walkthrough of the Cherokee. We've talked about it a bunch on the podcast. We've done a few things here and there on YouTube, on Instagram, showing it. Currently, it's been sitting for two and a half years. I wheeled it June of 2022. See, it's been over 2 years since it's moved. June of 22 with the Blue Mountain Jeep Alliance out of the Cove. I lost power brakes, or my brake booster went out, and I kind of wheeled it the rest of the trip with 2 feet. That was a nightmare. Made it onto the trailer after 8 hours on the trail and have a good time. We recorded a podcast that was, I don't know, probably episode 70-ish. But it's been sitting. It came off the trailer. It literally backed off the trailer, and I haven't touched it. It's been neglected for 2 years. Kind of feel bad about it because I love this thing. I bought it in 2017 after I completely destroyed a Cat Eye Silverado out of the Cove. Body was wrinkled, broke 2 front axles, broke both of the tie rods. The thing was destroyed. I ended up turning it into a tow rig for this. I bought this for $750, believe it or not, bone stock. It was a stock unit with, I've barely put 1,000 miles. It had 298,000 miles on it. It's still got 298,000 miles on it. Because it's only been in the woods. It's only been beaten up at the Cove, Roush Creek, and AOAA over those 7 years. Really only 5 years, because it's been sitting for 2. So I literally beat the piss out of this thing for 5 years and then forgot about it. When it got maintained in those last few years we were using it, it got maintained on the trailer. Really, it was just oil changes and transmission flushes and transfer case flushes, along with the differentials, just the fluids. I really haven't done anything to it. Obviously, I've done a lot to it from factory. It's got the full cab fab, front control arms, tie rods, drag link, all that stuff. It's set up. It's bulletproof. Actually, I'm pretty proud of it. I was the first one, and I've got it somewhere. I'd have to find it. I was the first one to bend the cab fab 1.5 inch solid steering. They sent me a letterhead with it saying, wow, congrats. We haven't had anybody do this yet. And they warranted it. They were awesome. We love them. The bumper, kind of a piecemeal. I actually love this brand. I got this back. It was probably 2019-ish. It's a modular front bumper. So you have the center section, the stinger, and then the header panel guards is what I will call them. It's just the full length wings. I have the shorties. I ended up cracking 2 header panels with the shorties, so I put the long ones on there. The winch I got for basically free. I found it on some Facebook Marketplace. Someone was selling it for like $125. Still new in box. They were getting ready to move. They didn't have spot for it on their Jeep. It pretty much gave it to me. It's the Smitty built. Winches are winches. Unless you need something high speed, get the Warn. But the Smitty built works. I've got a Badlands on my trailer. Really, the Badlands is the best winch I think we've ever owned as the Dirt Nerds. It runs on half-dead batteries. It pulls every time, and it sits out in the weather. Like it's sitting under a grove of trees over in my field. So underneath, we've got all cab fab parts. Truss gusseted Dana 30. I know it's a Dana 30. Roast me in the comments. Truss gusseted Dana 30 with a Aussie locker and used gears. I can't remember who it was. It was a Facebook Marketplace find, and I stumbled across it. It was like the early 90s XJs with the 2.5 liter in the 4-speed came with 410 gears. Well, those were also high pinion Dana 30s, and I think they were the 27 spline, 8 1/4. I've got the 29 spline, 8 1/4, but the gears still work. It still is the same gear set. We did a hot swap. This was also probably back in 2018, 2019 with Tom. We've talked about it on the podcast. We did a used gear set, and we did the trusses on the front and back axles. It's been pretty solid. The only problem I've ever had with an axle is I broke both front axle shafts at the same time on the same trail. So I've upgraded those to chromoly, or chrome moly, if you will. If you're in the Facebook comments, it's always chrome moly. But I've got the chromoly front axle shafts. I've had no issues with them. I beat the absolute piss out of this Jeep. The back axle shafts are still stock. They're still the 29 spline from 98. So people crap on these stock axles, but with a small tire, it's a 33, with a small tire and a good driver, you can go most places. I'm not to toot my own horn that I'm a good driver, but you can go most places. I mean, this thing has been places where it shouldn't. I mean, the long arms help a lot, the lockers help a lot, but putting it in those places, it's pretty solid. Wheels and tires. Tires are, I mean, the second oldest thing on this Jeep. I got the tires in 2017. They are what is the brand? I really love them. I mean, they're heavy as all get out. They're a Treadrite guard dog, the Treadrite guard dog. So what Treadrite is Treadrite is a remold tire. So the core of the tire is a BFG all-terrain in a 33 by 16. What Treadrite does is they strip it down to the core and they put all new rubber on the outside. These things have to weigh 75 pounds a piece without the wheel. They are absolutely heavy as all get out. I'm trying not to cuss. Trying to be better. Podcast, we let it fly. For the YouTube comment, or the YouTube content, try not to let it fly so much. Yeah, these are absolutely heavy as anything I've ever put my hands on for tires. The beadlocks, I don't know why I did beadlocks. I had I think they were the TJ. What was the wheel? It was the 5-spoke TJ wheel, the aluminum one. I can't think of. Drop the name in the comments. I can't think of what they called it. It had some certain name. It was a really nice wheel. I ended up pulling valve stems out of them on every trip. Every trip I was out with those tires, with those wheels, I pulled valve stems. So I got lucky. I found a set of 4 beadlocks for this thing for $200 in Richmond, Virginia. I think I absolutely stole them. I had to refinish them. They got a new set of paint. I polished up the chrome a little bit, and I've had no issues with them. I think you can see the back tires are flat. I think the back tires are flat because the tires are so old and beat up. I'll do a zoom in shot here in a little bit, but these tires are absolutely cut to everything. I mean, absolutely cut up. There's almost nothing left of them. These need to be replaced desperately. They've never seen anything but rocks. I mean, I tried to avoid mud. The trips we did, we would do, I talk about, it is past tense. The trips we did, we would do 8 miles in 12 hours, just rock trails. I mean, like blue, some black rock trails. We were never, I mean, we were beating them up pretty good, but we were never going above our skill level. Never with the intention of trying to break Jeeps, never with the intention of trying to break anything, but with the intention of trying to put the vehicle and the driver to the test without breaking. That's how, when we're not overlanding, that's how we wheel. We like to use our vehicles without being afraid of breaking them, but not trying to break them. So that's why these tires are so destroyed. I haven't looked at them in a while. They are absolutely destroyed. There's nothing left of these. I couldn't even sell these on Marketplace. So the suspension, other than being all cab fab in the front. It's 6.5 inches tall. We ended up being this tall out of pure happenstance. I didn't want to be this tall. I wanted to stay at 4.5. But with what we did in the rear, we had to match it in the front. So the original lift was short arms and 4.5 inches. Loved it. It worked pretty damn well. I giggled when I first drove this thing because I was used to my Silverado, like I mentioned earlier. The turning radius was ridiculous. The flex was ridiculous compared to the Silverado. Like, it was just an absolute pleasure to drive. It's making me really want to fix it. But the 4.5, we did 4.5 leaf springs. I can't remember. I think they're Rusties. I think they're Rusties leaf springs. We did 4.5 inch Rusties leaf springs. I ended up ripping the shackle hanger out. So I had to do the barn shackle hanger, and then I did a shackle. So it ended up being, it's probably closer to 7. It's got a little bit of a rake to it. It's actually sitting pretty flat right now, which is kind of concerning. But I think it ended up being like 7.5 in the back. So I compensated with the 6.5 in the front. It rides really good. It rides great. I mean, I love a leaf spring. As much as leaf springs are for poor people, Angel in your 7 slot, I need to get your t-shirt. As much as leaf springs are for poor people, I love the way this thing rides. It's super steady, super steady and super stable, even without sway bars front and back. Yeah, I don't know. So that's how we ended up at 6.5. I think it's for an XJ, I think 6.5 is kind of the perfect height. It's a little too tall for my liking. I do need to go to a 35 if I end up putting this thing back on the trails. But I'm not upset about that because these tires are absolutely trashed. 6.5 and 35, I think is going to be the perfect setup for this. It's going to be basically not to say anything. It's going to be basically set up the same way, except for the actual spring components and the beefness, as Daniel May Applegate's 4600 car, which is running the same suspension in the front, and I think it's 6.5 and on 35s. It's a bulletproof car. I mean, he's got obviously different axles and he's got all the beef, but it's kind of pretty close-ish. His car's a lot nicer. Sorry, Daniel, if you're watching. I don't mean to compare your car to my shitty old Jeep, but that's where we're at. So last time I touched it, we'll move cameras. Ooh, lots of spiders. So last time I touched this thing, I was basically just trying to start it to move it, and it wouldn't. It's a 4-liter with the AW4, and I can't remember what transfer case. It's the stock transfer case. I put the slip yoke eliminator on it, and I did the 6-pin planetary in there. But it's basically a stock drivetrain. I think it's going to be the cam position sensor. That was hard for me. I think it's going to be the cam position sensor and the crank position sensor, which is super easy. I've already got both of them. I just haven't put the time into it. I've been working on the two-door, and I've been actually working on the Camaro a little bit too. I haven't been filming that stuff just because that's kind of for me. I'm enjoying that process. It's a slow process. This is another reason I'm not filming it. But yeah, currently the state it's in, it doesn't run and it doesn't stop. It's kind of the perfect XJ. It's what you expect from every XJ. Also under the hood, I forgot I did this. I did full electric fans and the hood vents. These things are heat boxes. All they do is trap heat. All they do is trap heat. If you have an XJ and it doesn't overheat and it's on the factory setup, I don't know. Write an article about it. That's the most amazing thing. This thing would overheat like crazy. I mean, low speeds, high temps on hot days in the summer. So with the 3 electric fans and the hood vents, I haven't had an issue with it overheating. I also did a power steering cooler, and the box is tapped for hydro assist, and I've got the RAM. I just never hooked it up. I really have a lot of parts for this thing. I really should do something with it. Yeah, so it's set up for hydro assist with the power steering cooler and everything. I just haven't touched it. I need to. I kind of want to sell it too. I'm on the fence with this thing, man. It's kind of a hunk. It's kind of one of my favorite vehicles I've ever owned, which is a short list. I haven't owned a lot of vehicles. But yeah, I gotta get back under here and start cranking on things. I think should I revive this thing? Should I breathe some life into it and start wheeling rock crawling again, or should I fix it up just enough and try and sell it for $3,000? Because I think that's all I could get for it. It's a wrinkled, beat up Cherokee. They're not worth a lot. I mean, the suspension is worth more than the rest of it. What should I do? Should I try and fix it and wheel it again? Should I try and turn it into a race car? Not a race car per se. Should I make it a like a street legal rock crawling series car, an SLRC car, and just take it to comps a few times a year and wheel? I don't really have any plans with it. I kind of just plan to, as bad as this sounds, I kind of just plan to let it sit here and die. I kind of need to do something with it though. I don't know. Let me know what you think. Should I revive it for a hobbyist rock crawler, or should I go street legal rock crawling? Or I've got no idea. I've got no idea what I should do with this. I kind of want to sell it, kind of want to fix it, kind of want to burn it. You're a Jeep owner, you know. So yeah, let me know what you think I should do with it. It's kind of a hunk. It's kind of a hunk and like a hunk of junk, but it's kind of also like a beefy hunk. It's got all of the parts you could ever want on a stock Cherokee with being stock axles. But it's also kind of a hunk of shit because it's got rust. Not a ton. I mean, the unibody is still pretty solid. I haven't poked any holes in it anywhere. It's got frame stiffeners. What should I do with it? Should I put it back on the road? Should I put it back on the trail, or should I just build it as a street legal rock crawler and beat it up every few months up at Roush Creek doing some competitions? I don't know. Let me know what you think. I don't know when this video is coming out. It's been a ton of fun. We've been doing a bunch of good video content. Tom's doing the CJ build. I'm helping him with that. I might do a build on this just to kind of get it up and running. Freddie Abe, he's linked down in the comment or down in the description. Freddie Abe and I have a few plans for content for it, but we have to get there. I've got to find the motivation to actually turn a wrench on it again, which is kind of there. Like, today's a beautiful day in not the dead of winter, but the beginning of winter. Today's a beautiful day. I'd love to turn a wrench on it today. Unfortunately, that's not an option. Yeah, I feel like I'm just kind of rambling now. Drop a comment. Let me know what you think. Should I revive it? Should I sell it? Should I burn it? Thanks for watching, guys.